You know, it's funny that you'd ask me something like that, although it's not really funny. But the question you asked me, what was it like the first time that I smoked powder, right? Now, we ain't talking about that crack shit that people be smoking today, all of that. We're talking about the rich man's drug back in the day, right? Well, first of all, I'm going to say this here. This is just a piece of advice. If you like somebody and you know they off into that shit, don't do it just because they into that shit, you know? Well, that's why I got caught up as. There was this guy I called myself I like, you know. He was an 18-wheeler driver, truck driver, you know, in-state, out-of-state, whatever you want to call it, maybe even out of a state of mind. But he was on that shit, but I didn't know it at the time, you know. Every time I saw him, I spoke to him and stuff. He spoke to me. He gave me one of them Colgate smiles, you know. So one day, one of my relatives invited me to come over to their house. I came over, and he was there. They was all good friends, right? So I'm sitting there with them, and I start watching them. They passing around this big old glass. Everybody smoking, you know. I said, "You want some of that?" I said, "No, I don't want that shit." They said, "Why?" I said, "That stuff will kill you." They say, no, "Girl, try it." I said, "I ain't gonna do that stuff." Long story short, after the third time, me going over there, and old Bob was over there. You know, he took a hit. He sitting on the side of me. He gonna tell me, say, "You gonna try that?" I said, "No." He said, "Well," I said, "Because it's gonna kill you." He said, "Well, I'm smoking. It ain't kill me." Well, common sense told me, well, damn, he telling the truth. He ain't died yet, you know. But that was just a stupid move, right? That was just a stupid answer. So I said, okay. I went head on. I tried to hit that, you know. I'm trying to smoke out the pipe. Next thing I saw was this goddamn spider bigger than about 5 feet tall. This motherfucker was huge. I ain't gonna lie, I was trying to bail up out that bitch. They said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Y'all don't see that big ass spider right there?" I'm telling you, I don't know if that was a bad experience or what, but I know that shit wasn't for me.